The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. It lingered there to touch your hair. Walk with me. I get so psyched because it's Free for All Friday. It makes me want to touch myself extra. Nah, that's not true because my touch myself desire is always at max. So I guess, yeah, 100% is 100%. I don't think I can go higher. Hey, Edgar, in first today. Nice, my friend. Wow, we're going slow with notifications today. Come on, Susan. Come on, Susan, drive that train. No, we don't want to bring up trains here. Drive that wagon train. Susan would be, in that case, would be the horse. I don't know. I think it is just you and me, Edgar. All right, Free for All Friday. Edgar V and me. That's okay. Edgar is the one who sponsored and provided these headphones for me. So at least I will certainly hear anything Edgar has to say really well. Here we go. We're coming in now. Mr. Badlands. Amin Zahar. Sukamakak. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, pal. DJ Games. Hashtag yo. FBI agent, the soldier, Jacob Whitford. Omer Calvillo. Brothers from other mothers, Wolverines and kin. Carrie Ann Pratt, Codebreaker, Homosexual Sasuke, The Soldier, LP Luigi, Palm Tree, Willie Plays, Candace Bauman, Marco, Bjorn, Darkslaver. All right, gang starting to come in now. Susan said, okay, here, you can have a sprinkle of notifications today. Not a cascade, not a waterfall, not a landslide, a sprinkle. This Free for All Friday, this one is all on you guys. Whatever you guys want to talk about is where we're going today. So I'm going to leave it all up to you. And I'd say I'm afraid, but that's no more scary than when I think of things to talk about, because we're all basically sharing the same mind, as frightening as that is. Hey, Jonathan. I'm doing good, CMB. A goose-eyed Wolverine says. Brian, oh, geez. Yeah, I'm with you. Brian says, spend all day on the phone with DMV. I'd rather have a tetanus shot. Oh, yeah. Tetanus shot, root canal. Yeah, I'm with you. Well, yeah, and I don't know where you are, Brian, but they haven't even reopened the DMVs in New York yet. At least last I knew. I don't think they're open yet. One's right around the corner from me. You think I'd know? Oh, Violet Evergarden is so fucking good. Tien, I pronounce your name right? That's so good. Walter Luke says, I got fired from Papa John's for taking a shit on one pizza. Like, damn, I was gunning for two, but I stopped myself out of respect for the company legacy. What the hell? Papa John's is like, they're very uptight, aren't they? Shit on one pizza and you're gone? Not even like a warning first, like, hey, don't shit on the pizzas or it's going to be a problem. Lifer says, if that's the case, frick the job market. How do I get a damn job? Cthulhu says the mighty Susan has blessed us. Who would have ever thought, Cthulhu? Yeah. I keep looking for a job too, but well, there just nobody seems to want to participate. Watch Food Wars, but be mindful of who's in the area. Unless you mean the current season. I haven't caught the latest season. Other than that, I've seen all of Food Wars. And I didn't even pay attention to who was in the area. Jacking off is a sport. If it is, Brandon, there was a time where I could have been in the Olympics. I could still in the senior division. I think I could hold my own. Get it? Hold my own. And it's a jack. Come on, listen. That was quality punology. Right? I want a round of applause for that one. Jacking off is a sport. In my age group, I could hold my own. I'm not talking anymore until I get applause. That was quality bad puns right there. I'm waiting. I'm going to be a little bitch. All right, Big Green gave me some. All right, okay. Now I got applause. Okay, I told you guys before. I told you in the video. I am a proud dancing monkey. I need my applause. There we go. Okay, now I feel better. That was quality. Hold my own. That's a knee slapper. I take that as a suggestion to be a prostitute. I don't think I'd get enough business. Oh, me either, Lifer. Yeah. One thing's for sure. If I had to make my living, whoring myself out on the streets, I would lose weight anyway because I wouldn't be eating. Uncle Curtis, who's on first? What's on second? That's one of Barry's. That's one of Brax's favorite things ever is the who's on first bit. We're in Cooperstown not too long ago. I might have told you guys this. I bought him a shirt that has, Laurel and Hardy on the front and the entire routine written down on the back of the shirt. Phil gives me the clapboards. Uncle Iro or Spaz Kid? I don't know. Uncle Iro's badass, but Spaz Kid's psycho. Jeremiah, yo, Curtis, what we playing? What's up is all that I'm saying. In Minecraft, I see you training, and Fall Guys, you and Spaz Kid are slaying Killer B. Nice. Excuse me. Chrome says new intro's coming. Yeah. The new intro's coming along really well, by the way, Curtis. Gonna post an update soon. I think people will really like this new one. I like just the I was impressed by the little bit you showed us the other day, Chrome. Just the base work of the room itself. I thought that was really good. Brother, he says, Curtis, what are your thoughts on ancestry kits? The kind of kits where you use your DNA to know more about your heritage, or if you have any unknown relatives. They're pretty cool. I haven't done one myself. I have friends that have done them. They're pretty cool. I get, it's a crapshoot how much. It depends, I guess, on how much you know about your history already, how surprised you may be by it. But yeah, I think they're pretty cool. Soldier says, getting a notification early enough for Curtis to say your name equals happiness noises. She actually sent out, I got to give Susan credit. Looks like she gave us some notifications today. I don't know what we did right, but Zeno says, hello, wait, it's a bald guy. Creepy one, too. Wolverine, a few minutes in and we a spammer? Hell Hydra. You should be used to that by now, Wolverine. We've had a lot of them lately, haven't we? You know what I noticed though too? There's a lot of spam in and of itself is making a resurgence over at YouTube. I get rid of comments on almost every video now. Hey, come look at my tight little teen pussy and all that stupid shit. And that had been gone for a while, but I see it's coming back now. I'm getting more spam content on my phone than I ever did before. Shadow Dragon says, any interest in dressing up as an anime character to give out Halloween candy this year? I would. I don't know if we're going to have Halloween, to be honest with you, pal. My wife and I were just talking about it because we love Halloween. We love, being able to give candy to the kids. This is my first year as a homeowner. I'm going to be Superman. I hope we get to. I would love to do that, dress up as an anime. Or, in past years, I've just put on a gorilla mask, which really isn't that much of a departure anyway, and stuff like that. But we're really concerned about whether or not we're going to get trick-or-treaters this year. Evian says, I'm really glad you responded to my comment. Oh, happy to Yeah, like I say, as far as comment section goes, I'm pretty lenient, but if somebody's attacking someone else, now they got to go. It's no need for it. I'll give you the clap, but not the nice kind. Well, it depends on your perspective, what is the nice kind, Berries. Sometimes any type of clap. Listen, any attention is good attention is what I'm trying to say. Rita says, I need encouragement from you, Senpai. I am in college. How's it going for you? I know Brax just had, because he's an RA, he had to go in early, and the kids just started coming back yesterday, so I didn't get to talk to him much because those are busy days for him. But it's going to be a crapshoot. I hope it goes well for everybody. I hope the schools are able to continue doing things in person. I know my beloved Notre Dame there, I know they just had to cancel in-person classes, I think until beginning of September, because they had a bunch of COVID cases. Cthulhu says, I do the DNA thing, but I know I'm related to some very evil organizations. I would be afraid to learn more since I can't work for either. Yikes, yeah. Sometimes, as they say, my friend, sometimes ignorance is bliss. Better to just not know. Tom says, been looking forward to this stream. It's been a long day. Oh, I'm glad you're here with us, Tom. I look forward to these streams every day. It's a little late today. I had some stuff to do earlier, but Free for All Friday is here. Barry says, I've been a vampire for Halloween ever since I was 13. Now I'm 18. Lost my front teeth in a bike accident, and implants are expensive. Now I have a permanent Halloween costume. Save me money. Well done, pal. That's good. I swear Golden looks like a damn demon in this new intro. Thanks for sending the model. It'll be something else. Oh, it's going to be fun, Chrome. I'm looking forward to it. Rand, no, I don't watch Pokemon. The only real, I mean, I have some Pokemon knowledge because it's so huge in pop culture. But as far as the Pokemon themselves, the only way I know have any real knowledge about them is Spezka and I used to play Pokemon Go years ago, and that was fun. The only reason I stopped was there was really no point to it. It was just a case of you'd go take a gym and then somebody would go take it back and you go take it back from them, and it was fun looking for the Pokemon for a while, and then it just got repetitive. Morgan says, "Sup, Uncle Curtis? I talked to my hubby about you, and he said to tell you he found a fairly large scale figure of Rias Gremory in a bikini. I wonder if we saw. I saw one, Morgan. I wonder if your hubby and I saw, the same designed one. Oh shit! I can't remember what store I was in. I would tell you. I don't think. No, I don't. It wasn't. I don't think it was in Box Lunch, but I saw one too. I don't. Again, I don't know if it's the same one. And Morgan, how bad my memory is. That seared itself into my memory. I did see one. I wonder if we saw the same one. I was like, oh, wow. That made me feel very special all over. Cthulhu says, I trick or treat, but children scream too much. Halloween, but you hit Fortnite kids with a warhammer. Lifer says, ouch. Play God of War, Superior Spider Boy? I never played those. I know the series is wildly popular and everything. I've never played a God of War game. Let's see. Tony Koshi Matthew says, where can I find your reaction to the last few episodes of Naruto Shippuden? It is on YouTube, I am not mistaken. I really want to see your reactions. The last few, pal, I had to put over at the Goosh because they were getting all blocked. Now, before you go over there and join, it was just to make sure. I think it's only the last dozen. I don't remember that specific episode if that's within them, but it's like the last dozen or so. I just couldn't get them to stay up on YouTube because Naruto is when we started having all the problems with the blocks and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's the last dozen of them around there. There's no sense in me putting them up at YouTube. They just get blocked. Hey, Philip, thanks for the Crimson Sky. We haven't had a Crimson Sky in a long time. Thanks for the Crimson Sky. That's still Crimson. Because we had to switch magenta to pussy pink because they switched the shade, but that's still clearly Crimson. Philip says, didn't do the DNA test, but I went far enough back in my family tree to figure out why my brother has blonde hair while everyone in my family is dark of hair. Turns out it was prevalent enough that several of my ancestors are named of the blonde hair. Really? Stuff like that's fascinating. See, I should get mine done because once you get very far back, Spaz Kid had to do a family tree as best he could when he was a junior, senior in high school. And we're so all over the place that it'd be fun to see what the actual makeup is. Like for years, my grandmother spent most of her life, thought she was French. But by the time she had passed, there were indications that she was actually Spanish. She was from Spain. So one of those DNA tests would probably at least clear up things like that for me. But yeah, we're all over the place. That's kind of stuff like what Philip's talking about. That's fascinating because for some people, those DNA tests, just as he outlined, can like really clear up some family mysteries and stuff. So they can be really cool. I mean, if you have a really good handle, if there's good lineage tracking you can do online of your family tree, you probably won't get too many surprises. But most people, it starts to get really blurry after a while, after not that many generations. Xenogame says, last week I said I was watching Hunter x Hunter, and this week I still need to finish it. I was off last week. Now I was at work this week. Any more anime suggestions? Xeno, near the top of my list, of course, and not suggesting One Piece just because of the length. I don't remember if you haven't seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's a really good one. If you want to go for something a little different in tone, Overlord. I like Overlord a lot. Or Konosuba for a difference in tone. Konosuba makes me laugh my ass off. Philip says, Crimson Sky, bitches. But thanks again for the Crimson Sky, Philip. Barry says, it's not Crimson Red, it's Communist Blood Red, Barry says. Dirty commies. You guys got to remember, I was alive during the age of dirty commies. That was the ultimate insult, because that was obviously during the Cold War and everything. And you called somebody a commie. It was fighting words. Now we've got a significant sector of our population who call them a commie, and they're like, oh, thank you. Hey, Kumar. He says, hey, Curtis, hope your week's been good. Well, thanks, my friend. It has been, as a matter of fact. We had 2 baseball games this week. We only got 1 win, but you have to remember, that's the first win in the history of the Pirates. So it was a good week. And then, I'll remind me to tell you guys, I got 1 more goal in baseball, and I'll tell you why. Something that happened in the game this week. Arthur says, I would trick or treat, but I'm legally obligated to inform you. That's wrong. You guys are funny. Shadow Dragon says, census forms in the U.S. are weird for Mexicans. You have to choose white, black, native, Asian. I'm certainly not white, but not native in the USA anyway. Really? Is that what? It's terrible. I keep forgetting to fill mine out. We had a census taker come just the other day. My wife gave him the information. So you have to choose white, black, native, or Asian? Yeah, how come they don't? I wonder why they don't have a specific. You'd think even more than just Hispanic, with the large Mexican population we had, you'd think they'd get specific for that, wouldn't you, Shadow Dragon? I know for a fact, I lived in a community that at one time was predominantly Mexicans. I'm really surprised by that. You would think that would, again, with the huge population of Mexican people we have here, you'd think that would be its own category. Philip says, I remember you telling me that. I remember suggesting she might have been Basque. That's right, you did. I remember that too now. Though a few years, there's a possibility she's a Spanish refugee from France from the Spanish Civil War. That would be interesting, Philip. That would be, I think, my biggest curiosity if I had it done is I know some level of either Spanish or French has to show up. And as far as we know, there's no other branch of my family tree that heads that way. Most everything else heads towards, as near as we can tell, Celtic regions, UK, possibly Scandinavian regions. But that's where we start losing track of things. But that seems to be the bulk of it. I'm trying to think of where else. That was pretty much it. So if, in other words, as far as I know, we should have either Spanish blood or French blood show up, and whichever one of them does, it has to be from my grandmother. So it would really be interesting to see. Till the end of time says, how far is Binghamton from you? I'm going there next Wednesday. Binghamton is southwest of me, my friend. I'm trying to remember how long it takes me to get to Binghamton. Gosh, that's terrible. I can't even remember. Couple hours? Probably a couple hours. We're just west of Albany. If you want to look on the map, we're just west of Albany. So Binghamton, you'll see if you look on the map, the pain in the ass with us getting to Binghamton is it's almost all state roads, because to take the throughway down, you're too far east. You're looping around that way. So it's a lot of state roads, which travel is not quick on them. It's a solid couple hours, maybe more. Member Barry says being called communist is now a compliment. Shame. I think there's a lot of people, unfortunately, in our country right now, Barry, that don't really even understand the concept of communism. They just, for one thing, edgelords right now feel that it's edgy to be communist. So, you're always going to have simpletons. Demonic Jester says, ring shopping with my girl. Apparently a noose doesn't work. What the hell? Women are so extra needy nowadays. Zeno says, I've never trick-or-treated in my life. And if I was going to trick-or-treat this year, I'm 19, I would go as either Deku, Koro Sensei, or Vegeta. All good costumes. Koro Sensei. I love that character. Koro Sensei is such a great character. Let me see. Okay, I just want to make sure I was caught up. Lost World says, have you seen Seven Deadly Sins? Have not yet. Also love my man. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I do want to see Seven Deadly Sins. I'm hoping that was one of the ones we were talking about the other day. I got to look up how many episodes it is exactly. You guys told me and I forgot again. Because I want to get that one in there. And Seven Deadly Sins is because Brax loves it. And Seven Deadly Sins is one that always gets mentioned in when we have the nomination threads. Typically makes it through to the poll, but always finishes in the middle. So I know there's a lot of interest in it, but it just seems like there's always something that just outdoes it, so it doesn't make it to the top of the goose. Filmmaker says, my brother is taking cosmetology in high school. I don't know if it's an elective or required. Is it wrong for me to feel like that's for women? I don't think it's, see, I don't think, now my personally, I don't think it's wrong for you to feel like it's for women because traditionally it has been. Do I think it's wrong for your brother to have an interest in it? No. No, I my take on life has always been do what makes you happy. So if he enjoys, like you say, if it's required, okay, it's required. But if it's an elective, hey, if he's interested in it, I mean, my stance on it, filmmaker, cool, good for him. Again, it's not wrong of you to feel like it's for women. Don't let anybody pressure you into that saying you can't gender assign. It's not gender assigning. The fact is that has historically been a field that's predominantly women. So naturally you would feel that way. But is it wrong for him to have an interest in it? No, that's cool. Whatever you like. Male midwives, and it has wife in the name. Yeah, that's true, Jacqueline. That's true. Yeah, again, I'm all for that. Whatever makes you happy, whatever you like doing, as long as you're not hurting anybody else, go for it. Cthulhu says, I'm an edgelord, but I research what not to be. Yeah. And that's the problem too. And we see it all the time because you see it in YouTube videos and stuff, no matter which side of the aisle it is. It just cracks me up when you have protesters out there protesting fill in the blank, and somebody comes in and asks them specifics about the issue, and they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. I just can't imagine being motivated enough to go out on the streets and not even know what you're out there for. That makes me crazy. It just, to me, then it's when I see any of those, and it's either side of the aisle, I see somebody out there protesting. They get asked questions specifically about the protest topic and they can't answer it. To me, you're just a loser who's in desperate need of attention, because why else would you be out there? You obviously don't care. The issue is not that big a deal to you. You didn't even bother to learn about it. So you're just, again, a loser. Demonic Jester says, still ring shopping. Apparently handcuffs and shackles don't work either. Help me. I'm out of ideas, Jester. I thought all that stuff was solid. The only thing you got left now, you got to go. You got the whole caveman with a club and drag him by the hair thing. That's pretty much all you got left. I think most women would be receptive to that. No, not good. Okay, maybe not. Maybe that's not a good idea on second thought. Smithy says, do you know the wizard sort hat from Harry Potter? When placed on Peter's head, it says housing for registered sex offenders. So much for Gryffindor. See, I don't know much of anything, unfortunately, Smith, about Harry Potter. Those, I got to admit, I do want to see. I haven't seen one of them in its entirety. And now what happens is, because I do want to see them, when it's on TV or streaming somewhere or something, I won't, if I can only catch it in the middle, I don't watch it because I do want to see them. I want to see that in its entirety and go back to Universal Studios at some point, because I had a blast in the Harry Potter worlds in Universal, and I've never even seen the movies, and it was fun. So I do want to see them. So but anything that says housing for registered sex offenders, they need to get the fuck out. Yeah. Morgan says, I want to sponsor a Barbie movie for the lols. It would end up being my favorite anime ever. Giggity Goose says, do you watch UFC? I do, not as religiously as I'd like. I don't know the fighters as well as I used to, but UFC, any type of combat arts, is something that I will watch. If it's just just happens to be on TV, I'm going to stay and watch it. If so, any advice for a new fan? I don't know that there's advice. Just have a good time. It's fun. To me, it's as base as it gets. It's two guys or two girls going into an enclosed area, and it's like, let's see who can take who out. That's as basic as combat gets. I just sit back and have a good time with it. I wish that would have been a thing, because it was overseas, but I wish that would have been a thing here in America when I was young enough to compete. I would have loved to have been involved in that. Love to. But yeah, just have fun with it. It's just a lot of fun to watch. I wish I got to watch more than I do. Tom says protesters tried to stop a lorry full of livestock and were surprised when driver didn't stop. Idiots. Yeah, I, I'm with you on that, Tom. I'm not with that. Look, and I believe in your right to protest and everything. I don't believe in your right to block traffic for simple reasons. Yes, it's the inconvenience. Well, nobody gets the message unless you get inconvenience. That's so counterproductive. You're an absolute fucking moron if you think that. When you inconvenience people is when you get people against whatever it is that you're protesting. But beyond that, all I think of when you see, traffic backed up for miles and police standing there going, well, gee, I don't know what to do. They're in the road. It's like, okay, well, what about that ambulance or that fucking fire truck? Fuck that. Get those assholes out of the road. You know what? Again, protest all you want as long as you're not affecting someone else's life or livelihood. Superior Spider Boy says, do you prefer to work face or heel in the ring? I did a lot of both. I think in general, now it depends on the storylines, but in general, heel is more fun. But that's being very general. There are times when I preferred being a face. It depends on what storyline you're working. But in general, it's fun to heel. Philip says, clearly they never read Soltz. I'm not even familiar with that author's. Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago. The problem with communism is it inherently sets itself in conflict with a specific social class, then start adding to the list. And the thing of it is, too, Philip, all they have to do is look at its history as it's applied throughout the world and tell me where there's been a good outcome. Tell me where there is currently a positive outcome coming from communism. You don't have to do an awful lot of research to see what becomes of it. I mean, communism, they complain about the government having too much control here. Communism is the ultimate in governmental control. Ring shopping, Haribo ring will do, Zeno Game says. that might get a dude beat up. Denny says, I really enjoy your honest points of view and the reaction vids. Well, thanks. I appreciate that, my friend. Keep on keeping on and stay safe out there. You too. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, that's one thing I've said, and I'll stay with that till the day I die. Could be tomorrow. I'm old. What you get from me is who I really am. I'll always be honest with you guys. Again, outside of playing a character, anything you see on the channel is just the same person that I am in day-to-day life. Oh, Bob. Message retracted. But thank you anyway for the super chat. Countless genocides and famines. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take you very long on the internet to see that communism is for forever as far as being a successful form of government. Filmmaker says, I requested my ballot for the election. I didn't vote in 2016, but I will vote for Trump in 2020. I'm liberal on almost everything, but they didn't earn my vote this time around. It could be very well be just me, Filmmaker. I'm hearing a lot of that. I had a shocking conversation with an old friend of mine, good friend of mine from wrestling. And in 2016, we went round and round. He was supporting Sanders. And him and I went back and forth because you guys know, I don't, not only do I know a lot of people get tweaked as soon as I say I don't like socialism, but I don't like giving the government any more of my money than is necessary. I like a free market solution. So that said, obviously I'm anti-socialist, but I was really surprised now in 2020, he's voting for Trump. And he said basically what you said. And not because Bernie didn't get in, he dropped Bernie too. He said, you know what? He said, I just wasn't looking at a bigger picture for him was the bigger picture. And he said, when he went back and revisited what basically the Democrats' historic plan for taxing more to provide more services, he's just not on board with it. I was just surprised to hear it from him. But he's a real genuine guy. He's the type of person that is always upfront about everything. That's why some of the guys didn't like him, which is kind of pithy. Do you rather have people bullshitting you? Well, some people would. But he said to me, he said, you know what? He said, I got to give you credit. He said, you were right back in 2016. He said, I don't know what I was thinking. I was surprised. Well, the thing is, Ultra Luke, if done correctly, communism is a great idea. I disagree. But the main reason it won't work is because people are naturally greedy. But I don't disagree with you on the last portion of that, Luke. but that's true with pretty much every form of government. The downfall or the downsides to every form of governance is basically greed. So while I don't agree that even conceptually communism is a good form of government, I do agree with you that it all gets destroyed by greed and the want for power. Yeah. So we do agree partially there. Yeah, vote Donald Trump 2020. Effed up anyway. F it more. Well, listen, I'll be honest with you guys. I've told you this. I'm voting for Trump, but I do not see Trump as an ideal candidate. Don't get the wrong impression. He's got a lot of blemishes. It just I will not vote against what I think is in the best interest of my children and grandchildren. And higher taxation with more government intervention, I do not believe is in their best interest. Trevor says, "Oh, that's a tough one, Trevor. Curtis, you hate communism or USC more?" Wow, that's a tough one, Trevor. For any of you who don't know, USC is the University of Southern California. It is my team, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish's longtime rival, and this is the USC mascot here. This is, of course, the Notre Dame Leprechaun, and I despise all things USC. I guess I hate communism a little more because at least if nothing else, over the last several years, USC has been a fun punching bag. Now, when they've had a good recruiting year this year, when they start rising back up again, then we'll have to revisit that question. But as long as they're being Notre Dame's punching bag, yeah, then I'm okay with them. Bob says, "Screw the rules. I have money." Man, I have no idea how super chats work. That's a great post, actually. Oh my God, you guys are so funny. One glove gamer, awesome, says my first Spaz Boy stream. Hey, good, welcome, my friend. Brian says, when I was in LA, I had to get groceries once at a grocery store in USC territory. I'm still in therapy. Yeah, don't. Oh yeah, you took a risk getting groceries there. They might have gotten some of that USC stank on your food. Ugh. Smith says, so what you're saying, Curtis, thanks to your genuine and brutal honesty, which we love, is we shouldn't ask you if our butt looks fat in these jeans, right? Yes, I'm not the guy to ask that stuff. You're correct, Smith. Only and I will say this: I can have tact, but I won't lie to you. You know, I won't be I won't try and be outwardly mean or nasty. But if you got an ass like mine, a giant ass, and you come up to me and you say, does my butt look fat in these jeans? I'm probably going to say, well, your butt is fat. So how did you think the jeans were going to change that? Gone says random donation for no reason. You're welcome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. This has been a fun day today. It's been a wild day. Wow, it's Free for All Friday. Voting Trump now, libertarian every time afterwards. You know what, Arthur? I don't have a specific issue with libertarians. No, let me put it this way. Libertarians agree with me philosophically on a lot of things. They just put me off with the all taxation is theft thing. I think that's silly and ridiculous. I don't like paying taxes any more than anybody else. Don't get me wrong. But all taxation is not theft. It's a necessary evil. I mean, keeping taxation in check is something I would like to see, or keeping taxation handled properly, our tax dollars handled properly, is something I would certainly like to see more of. Evian says, I can't wait to go to school again, graduate, suffer in high school, then graduate, and finally be free. Fly, be free. Xenoguy says, vote for someone who doesn't want to start a war. I am from the UK, but if he does start a war and I get elected to join the war, my ID says I am 3. Yeah. I don't, in fairness, I don't think anybody in the UK, anybody in the United States, as much as I have some political perspectives and politicians in this country that I do not care for at all, I don't think anybody's looking to start a war. I don't think anybody's that simple. There's nobody of any real prominence, put it that way, who's looking to start a war. And that includes Trump. Trump's not looking to start a war. The whole thing with at the beginning of the year with taking out that general in Iran, I didn't have a problem with that. with that guy's record of what he'd been doing. I had no problem with him dying at all. Did it, and I said it at the time. It's not hindsight. And everybody's going, "Oh, it's World War III." It's not fucking World War III. It's not even close. Iran's not that. Listen, the one thing the Iranian Ayatollahs want is to stay in power. The one sure way to not stay in power is to actually engage the U.S. in a war. And no matter how much they bluster and how much they like to talk, they're aware of that. Morgan says, "Gotta go for now. Beware of Barbie. I'm a troll." Well, thank you, Morgan, for being in, hon. And have a great weekend, too. And tell your husband, if I didn't see that particular figure, I saw one like it. And yes, it actually, it gave me, I had a mini stroke that day, basically. Danny says, every society is run on greed. I would call that sad but true category. The world runs on individuals pursuing their separate interests. You are 100% correct. Jobs and Apple didn't make the iPhone due to government. Yeah, no, Danny, I'm with you completely. As I said, the second half of his statement I agreed with is it's greed that debilitates most forms of government. See, I am, regardless of what it is, I am pro-capitalism, but I am also aware that most, if not all, the foibles of capitalism are brought about because of greed. Little question. It's very unfortunate, but true. Arthur says, "I don't think libertarians are perfect." Well, that's and I like that phrase because I think you can put any word in there after "I don't think," because I don't think anybody can find a political party that's perfect. And if they do, I think they're kidding themselves. Are perfect, but I've come to realize they're much closer to my beliefs than Republicans or Democrats, and that's good. But see, whether I wanted to be a libertarian or not, I appreciate that. I can respect that. When you've obviously looked it all over, none of us, as I said, none of us are going to find. I like to think none of us are going to find a party or system of beliefs that just aligns with ours perfectly down the line. All you can do is what you're doing, Arthur. See what everybody's got to offer. And it's like, yeah, I checked the most boxes here, and that's what I'm going with. I will say this: the libertarians over the last few years have been gaining more and more momentum. Don't they need, in the presidential election, I believe they need to, is it a 5% threshold? I know there's some, I can't remember what it is. There's some significant level of national recognition you get if you get 5%, your party does, in a presidential election. I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's automatically on ballots in the states or something. But I know the libertarians had their fingers firmly crossed for 5% this time. I don't know if they can make that. We'll see. Smith says, George Carlin said it best. Can you really have a civil war? Pardon me, pelts civilian with bullets. I'm terribly sorry. Yeah. That's good. George Carlin was brilliant. Yeah. There's nothing civil about shooting somebody else, no matter how you slice it. Yeah. Philip says, been thinking about sponsoring a series over the Goosh. Kind of undecided what I want to sponsor. Black Lagoon. Oh, Revy. Bakano, Vinland Saga, or another episode of Yuja Senkai Saga of Tanya the Evil. Any of those are finally what I know of them. Black Lagoon, of course, I've seen clips, and oh yeah, Black Lagoon is up my alley. Tanya the Evil, of course, you know what I think of her, Philip. That's why Chrome and I decided when she made the header for us that Tanya would be put on it, because I was just so fascinated with that character. Yeah, Vinland Saga, I've heard tons of things about. Yeah, you can't go wrong with any of them as far as I'm concerned. Chrome says, I don't think the Libertarian Party is even libertarian at this point. They're actively talking about restricting people's rights and putting in place hate speech laws. How's that libertarian? Really? And now, see, I didn't know that, Chrome. And I'll be first to admit, as far as libertarians go, I know the base generalities of their beliefs. I don't know the specifics. If they were for putting in place hate speech laws, that would be an automatic no-go for me. Because the problem with hate speech laws, as I've always said, who is the arbiter of what qualifies as hate? You can't have them. You just can't have them unless you're going to say specifically this word or this phrase. But to say hate speech laws, and I don't even like this word or this phrase, whether it's something as, to me, the most offensive individual word in the language would probably be the N-word, because there's no other purpose for it other than to demean others. But even then, I don't want it to be illegal. I think you need to be able to say what you want to say, and then when you hear somebody saying it, you make that mental note or you make that written note and say, okay, that's somebody I don't want to deal with, but I don't believe in restricting it. Brother E says, when I was a kid, my mother told me I could be anyone I wanted to be. Well, it turns out identity theft is a crime. We can't always trust our parents, Brother E. What can I tell you? I mean, sometimes our parents just give us bad advice. You can be anything you want to be. Next thing you know, I'm in handcuffs. What the fuck? Got a cellmate. Lifer. Oh, okay. He's got it. I think if they get 5%, they can partake in next election's presidential debates. So there'll be more. There'll be 3 people on stage instead of 2, hoping to get more eyes. Is that what it is, Lifer? I knew there was something about that 5% threshold. I know a lot. I got several friends who are libertarians, and I know they're excited as hell. They think this Joe Jorgensen might be able to get them there, and they might. Between the fact that they've gained a little bit of steam, I think, over the last couple of years, and a lot of people are not thrilled about the 2 mainline choices here, they might. Xeno Game says, I'll become president, free muffin button. I vote for you then. That is a political stance that I can clearly get behind and touch inappropriately. Muffin button, yes, please. Filmmaker that says they want to make the vaccine mandatory. I refuse to accept that. If it only affects 2% of the world's population, why do I all need to be vaccinated? I am. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, I'm torn on that one, Filmmaker. I'm waiting on the vaccine because I want to see exactly what's involved. The good thing about it is when they come up with a vaccine, they will make available what exactly is incorporated into the vaccine. And even somebody who's completely non-scientific and non-doctoral like I am, if you have the basic core ingredients of a vaccine, you can read up on it, get a good feel for where these ingredients have been used before, what the potential is. And it's something we're talking about. I don't give a shit about my old ass body, but we're talking about putting into my kids and stuff like that. I'm going to make my decision based on that. Now, as far as making it mandatory, see, I don't like that type of overreach on one hand. Then the other side is, if they did, and I don't think they're going to, if they were able to come up with a vaccine that has a significantly high percentage of effectiveness, I can see them wanting to get that herd immunity. So that's a tough one for me. But yes, Filmmaker, I completely get what you're saying as far as there's a lot to be learned about it before we start talking about mandatory. It'd be like making the flu shot mandatory, and I think some places are trying to. We know the flu shot only works on, what is it, 35-40% of the people? I stopped getting it because it doesn't work. I mean, I'm not a person that has an issue with needles or anything. It's just, how many times are you going to get the flu shot, end up with a bad flu during that flu season, and then do it again? I just don't get it on principle. It's like, it's not going to do a goddamn thing for me, so why do I want it? Bob Jones says, first round of chemo pills start Monday. We're all in your corner with you, Bob. 100%. 100%. I can't even imagine what that's like and what you're going through. But we're here with you, pal. We will all be with you. We got your back. And we'll even not only your back, we'll touch you in some other places too. Because it's us. I just had the flu, Gothic Nation. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you from experience, the flu shot doesn't work on me. So it's like, why bother? I don't have a problem with vaccines in general. I don't have a problem with shots, but I can't see going on my way to go get a shot for something that doesn't work. Allowing government to forcibly inject stuff is dangerous. It is, Arthur. It is. And I completely agree with that sentiment. I do understand and again, let me clarify this, in the best of all possible cases, which is highly unlikely, they come out with a vaccine where they can say, here, this is the ingredients, this is what we've used, this is what these specific ingredients have done in the past, here's the potential ramifications, the potential side effects. Now, as we believe this, that it'll work on 95% of the population, it's putting them in a tough spot to not make it mandatory if you want to partake in governmental things such as school and stuff. I kind of get their point, but that's not going to happen. How many vaccines does that ever happen with? Vaccines don't come out with that level of efficacy. It just doesn't. That makes sense too. Jack Queen says flu vaccine doesn't stop new flu; it stops you from getting the previous flu. The flu adapts and changes, which is why you can still get it. That makes sense to me, Jack. All I know is, again, never worked for me. That's why I stopped taking it. It's like, you know what I'm most upset about by this whole thing? It was I think one of the most abysmal things we've done as a country as far as this whole COVID pandemic is the fight that brewed up over the hydroxychloroquine. You had so many people, and still do, on both sides of the pro and con aisle, just losing their fucking minds over the politics of the fact that Trump came out and said, hey, I think this has got a lot of promise. I've never seen anything like it. We're just now, excuse me, there are two major double-blind studies going on to check the efficacy of hydroxychloroquine as an early interventionist. How many months are we into this? Whether it works or not, why are we not exploring every possible avenue? Because we're fighting over the politics of medicine now. I mean, they should have been starting these trials months ago. And what is it? The Ford Hospital in Detroit did one, and now they're doing another. The way that this doctor, was it Zev or whatever his first name there, doing it the way he has been telling everyone that's been working for him, is the drug never was supposed to be able to help once you're in the hospital, once you're into the throes of the virus, but it became a political lightning rod because Trump had to say something about it, and nobody's really researched it to see if that there's a lot of very legitimate doctors saying, hey, this works, here's why, and nobody was researching it. Just everything has to be hyper politicized now in America. Chippy Salt says, in Australia, our government has just announced the vaccine is mandatory. Have they? Wow, already, Chippy Salt? I'm really surprised. See that, and I'm not anti-vax at all. But if America said, I would have a serious issue with that because we don't know what that vaccine is yet. Yeah, that would make me uneasy, Chippy. I wouldn't care for that. What are your thoughts on the Bill Gates series? Henry's Vlogs asked, I'm not a big Gates fan. And because I just don't trust Bill Gates. What I know of him and his background and his history, I don't think he's as magnanimous as he wants everybody to believe. And to be honest, I really don't care what Bill Gates thinks about medical related subjects because Bill Gates is not a doctor. And I think he crosses over in too high profile a manner into fields about which he knows nothing. I'm not a Bill Gates fan. I just don't like having him involved. Never have been. I mean, it started before this. Has nothing to do with these specifics. I don't trust Bill Gates. Let's see. Bob says, I know most of you probably hate Trump. No, I think we've got a fairly even split here. But I hope Republicans get elected again. Otherwise, Taiwan is toast. Democrats are too pro-China. Well, that would certainly seem to be the case, Bob. I mean, it does seem that the Democrats are very reticent to say anything about China and what they're doing as far as as the human elements of their policies. Chrome says, I don't trust billionaires thinking they know best for everyone, but I think the Gates conspiracy of him causing the virus is stupid. Oh, yeah. As far as him causing the virus, yeah, I agree with you, Chrome. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't buy that at all. Now, him being too invested into the potential vaccines, I don't call that a conspiracy. I call that a reason for concern. And I do think that Bill Gates is the type that if there was something that had potential to work outside of his sphere of what he thinks is going to work, that would he intentionally push people away from it? Yes, I think he would. Let's see. Two men walk into a bar, Milog says. Recognizing their faces from the news, the bartender immediately calls the authorities, and they're arrested and sentenced to life in prison. Is there a punchline there, Milog? Ian says, yeah. Ian says, yes, my boy Rosie. Street Racer says, I feel like an ass for liking Trump. None of you should feel like an ass for liking anyone. I mean, that's up to everybody individually. I told you I'm voting for Trump. And again, in fairness, I don't go down the line with Trump on anything. But I don't like the way the Democrats are headed right now. That's my biggest issue. I don't like the push towards the hard left. And as I've said, just like 15 years ago, I didn't like the push towards the hard right with the Tea Party. Phil, I know, I'm waiting for the punchline too, Philip. Meanwhile, left us hanging on that one. He did it on purpose. It's not a joke, it's his backstory. Lude says. Okay, that was good. Oh, de Blasio, though, Christian Jimgochin. So just look at Ted Murphy in Jersey and de Blasio in New York City. See, they're still pushing civic and the lockdowns. I have no respect for Bill de Blasio, none whatsoever. I think he is nothing but a hemorrhoid on the asshole of the world, as far as I'm concerned. Xenogame says vaccines now at this time of year during a pandemic are being tested 1 to 2 years to find out. We'll never know. I now refuse to call it a pandemic. I don't know why. It's now with that COVID-19 is definitely serious. I agree with giving it the pandemic tag. I think that's clear. I do also think that the numbers are highly skewed because I've known too many cases that I know personally and for certain of people who were said to have died from COVID-19, and they may have had COVID-19 at the time of their death, but it certainly was not the cause of it. Most recently being the wrestler, Kamala. I told you guys, a friend of mine helped him write his biography. Through him, we've all gotten to know Kamala. James was a fantastic man, really good guy. He was very, very sick. He was well aware he did not have long. That's one of the reasons he got to work on the book when he did and everything. James had a litany of problems, including severe diabetes and heart issues. But he died, and they find that he had COVID in his system, and he is chalked up as a COVID death. So there's no way that these numbers aren't wildly skewed. Because, again, I know this for a fact. I knew the man. He knew his time was near. Smith says, you should open your own bar and call it courtesy of Curtis. I bet all of us would tune in and pay just to see what the hell happens. And see, I'd be the kind that'd be good to open a bar, Smith, because I don't drink. So I'd be one of the few bartenders or bar owners that doesn't drink away any of the profits. Lauren says, Curtis, my nieces Hope and Willow just turned 4 and 5 today. We're hoping the Spaz Kids give them a shout out. Spaz Kids in college, unfortunately, Lauren. I would have him, but he's at college. They're always giggling at your reaction videos and says you're their favorite. Well, that's very kind of them. I appreciate that. Hope and Willow, happy birthdays. 4 and 5. You know what's sad about that? Now, 4 and 5, if I had read that as 4 and 5, meaning 45, I'm still older than that. I'm older than everything. There's at any given moment, other than this house itself, I look around and there's nothing that's older than me. Do you know how disconcerting that is? I'll bet you that's not true. Most of you guys should probably look around and not go too far in your house or wherever you are watching this and see something that's older than you. No, for me, it doesn't happen. But happy birthday, Hope and Willow. I hope you guys have a great time. And remember, I enjoy having you along. I'm glad you like our videos. I am not a role model. Your Aunt Lauren is a role model. I'm the guy that you go like this and you laugh and you go, look at the funny monkey. And that's about it. Henry's Vlog says, the theory is that Bill Gates wants to depopulate the earth and is using COVID as an excuse to give out vaccines that will make people sick and infertile. I don't know if it's true, but that's the number one theory. Yeah, I think that's too much. I mean, personally, I think that's too much, Henry. I think I don't trust Bill Gates as far as not having his own interests at heart when he makes any type of statement or recommendation. I think that theory is a little too extreme. I don't believe that he's looking to give out vaccines that'll make people sick and infertile. But I don't see any reason to take his advice on anything medical. None. I see no reason. Philip says, little Canadian update. Trudeau got busted again in a scandal involving a charity. Oh, I didn't hear about this one, Philip. He's just now closed Parliament in the middle of the investigation. The True North strong and free my ass. I didn't know he's in trouble again. What the fuck, Philip? What is the perception up there? How? I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen. I'll have to look. I haven't seen poll numbers on his popularity in ages, but I know it was tanking. But that was months ago, and I know it was on the way down. Jesus Christ, he can't stay out of trouble at all. I'll have to read up on that one. I didn't know about this. Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. Teacher in 2035. Now that's history in 2019. Now let's move on to 2021. Kid, what about 2020? Teacher, you don't want to know? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, 2020 would be the skip year. It's the mulligan. For those of you who are golfers, you'll know what I mean. A mulligan is what a lot of duffers, amateur golfers will use. That once every 9 holes or once every 18 holes, if you take a bad shot, you can use your mulligan, which means you can do one shot per 9 or 18 holes over. 2020 would be this century's mulligan. There's no question about it. Lupus says, it's filthy Frank, bitch. Oh, okay. I'll try and remember to go over there to the community section, Chrome, because I got to tie up here shortly anyway. Unfortunately, I've got to run some stuff over my stepdaughter, son-in-law, and the kids, my grandkids, were gone away. They came back yesterday. Now I got to run my daughter's bed. All the pieces came over here. The bed we had gotten her for her birthday. I got to run it over to their house. Lauren says, Leo has banned his aunt from entering the house. That doesn't surprise me at all, Lauren. I don't blame him. That's messed up. I don't give a shit. Giving chocolate to a dog, it's fucked up at every level. It's just completely, yeah. Well, like I say, I told you what I thought about that. Horrid ant needs to be terminated, Brother E says. Brother E says, what pissed me off about Kamala's death was the day he died, he was trending on Twitter, and these asshats were happy he was dead and not VP nominee Kamala Harris. Like, why does that even matter? Yeah, why would that? You're right, Brother E. Why would that be something you would feel the need to bring up? Oh, not Kamala Harris. Yeah, how about, no, just, oh, geez, rest in peace to a really good guy. But that's the nature of people nowadays, as unfortunate as that is. Excuse me. Talking to Krusty Bomb. Street Racer says, my mom used to say 2020 can fuck off and do one in 2019. She might have predicted it. I tell you guys, again, I've been around for a significant number of years, and it's not an exaggeration to say that this is the worst one. It's just been ridiculous. And the pandemic is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just between the pandemic, and it's not even just America. I mean, the antipathy between political sides worldwide is at an all-time high. Everything is like, you always feel like you're right on the cusp of the next big blow up or the next shoe to drop. It's been brutal. Absolutely brutal. Mr. Badland says, my house was built like 58 years ago. You're older than my fucking house. Yeah, I'm probably older than a lot of you guys' houses. We have an old farmhouse. This thing was built in the 1860s. So I'll give you an idea of the age on that house. And so that's one of the few things that is older than me. Not by a lot, but it is. Dragon Sphere says, I prefer Elon Musk over Bill Gates. I do too. Both lesser than Chair-sama. I like Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk stays in his lane to where he has his political opinions, he has his political expressions, he has his overall perspectives, but I think with him, at least in my way of thinking, they are presented as his thoughts as another human on the planet, whereas Bill Gates presents his as he wants to be the policymaker for the rest of the planet. Excuse me. Yes. Tenora says, "Do you remember this, Curtis? Aaron and Mikasa sitting in a tree. Fucking. Yes." Smith says, "More Carlin. A phone call is a brief exchange of vital information, not a 3-hour harangue about your aunt, sister's mailman's brother about liposuction." Carlin was brilliant. He really was, Smith. One of the great minds. Him, Richard Pryor, the old school guys. Xeno Game says in 7 days, Elon will share update with Neuralink. Oh, really? Anything Elon Musk does is pretty fascinating to me. Xeno Games. He's just a fascinating guy to follow. He really is. Musk don't give a fuck. Good for him for leaving California because of unfair treatment. Yeah, Christian. And you said it with your first sentence. Elon Musk has no fucks to give. And again, that's what I appreciate about him. He is pretty clear when he's stating something topical, political, whatever the case may be. He's talking as a citizen who happens to be a rich guy. Whereas to me, Gates wants to delegate what we all should be doing. Curtis, don't forget my birthday. Oh, your birthday tomorrow, Ian? Well, I don't know if you'll be in the stream. I'm hoping stream tomorrow will probably be Minecraft. I'm hoping stream tomorrow, but happy birthday, my friend. All right, guys. Well, I got to go. Yeah, I got to. Yep, it's a little after 4. I got to go. Again, I got to go deliver all that bedroom stuff over to my daughter. This was, even as Free For All Fridays go, this was an exceptional Free For All Friday stream. This one was hilarious. You guys, I just got to leave it all to you guys every time because the whole, the millions of different angles, a million points of light. If you remember that, the million different directions you guys came from in this stream was absolutely priceless. What's a priceless? We're in crisis. Whatever. We're in a priceless crisis. It was absolutely priceless. Thank you guys again for this stream, for lifting my spirits. God damn. I feel so good after these streams. Haha. And Xeno Game says bye. You know it. And there's sticky stuff. Not only is Free For All Friday premium sticky stuff, but when I've laughed this much during a Free For All Friday stream, it just adds to the special magical. This is almost as magical as a fucking vampire in that those stupid vampire books and movies. What the hell? Twilight. That's pretty magical. It's fucking mind-numbingly stupid too, but pretty magical. This is some magical Free For All Friday sticky stuff. Gather this up. If you don't use it all right now, put it in a container, keep it, because you're going to want this. You might want to sell it on eBay. I'm just saying, because some people are missing the stream and they're going to be like, oh, goddamn, no magical Free For All Friday sticky stuff. You might make a profit. So here comes Pumpu, Free For All Friday, magical sticky stuff for everybody. The best, the highest quality. Oh, it sparkles. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, it floats in the air a little bit. Wow, I'm really starting to lose it, you guys. It was bound to happen anyway. Well, bang, okay, flashlight like buggy, and most importantly, especially on a magical Free For All Friday, indeed, high rise goose, or as I like to say, goose. Goose. Oh, wow, that one almost hurt a little.